How did I get to the blues? Well, David Raye got into blues because his mother and his grandma's house, when they grew up, was attached to the black church. And they didn't go to church, but they listened every Sunday. They listened to them just raising it up, man, over there, and they always talked about that. So then my grandma moved in with us, and I was real little, and she helped raise me. And she'd come over and say, "Dave, come over here, man." She's like, "Look at here, with Satchmo's on TV," or whoever, you know. And so I got a really broad range of music appreciation going on there. And it was always in me because, like, I was just like this high. And they would pay me to dance, and brother, I can dance. And they would pay me to dance, you know, and perform for them. And then by the time I was in school, you know, I got a bunch of accidents and my face got paralyzed, you know, got cut and I got blinded and stuff like that. So I kind of put that away. I had a little harmonica for a while. But anyhow, so, you know, I was always interested in music, but I didn't play. And so I moved, in the winters I started going to Mississippi to do forestry work. And that's where it happened, man. You know, I mean, I always packed equipment, danced, packed equipment for bands, and I had a big roadhouse that I'd managed and, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but just didn't play. And everywhere I went, people say, "You look like the guitar player, man." You know, no. But, so, around the campfires, you know, and the guitar guys playing guitar, like, I'm gonna do that. I get the guitar, I play maybe a year. We down below Meridian, up above Bay Springs. There's a place in there, that Crossroads liquor store and gas station. One Saturday, this guy real drunk, he come up there where we camping, and he was, "Oh, them guys down there can't play, whatever." So I went down there, and there were 3 guys sitting on a picnic table with a harmonica, no guitar. They was singing like Joe Turner's Come and Gone, you know? And it was so powerful, man. I mean, I could like hear the stuff like that in my head ever since I was a little kid for some weird reason, you know? So like, I'm not religious, but if I was, I would believe in, you know, reincarnation, okay? And so, it was just so powerful, man. It blew me completely, my mind, blew my mind, man. And from there on, I pursued it, and you know, I traveled to work and stuff, and I just get little gigs, and I started listening to Robert, you know, and then Charlie, and then on back, and the hill country, and the, you know, and then the African drum and fife, and now here I am. My influences are obviously, you know, I mean, I loved Stevie, and I loved Hendrix and all that kind of stuff, but you know, really, like, come on, man, it's so much harder. This type of music to do is so much harder. And it really is. And I found that the further you go back, the harder the blues really are, because they're not confined. This is not a 12 bar or a 16, and there ain't no explanations for this. And there's all these tunings. No matter how good you get, you can find some old black woman sitting on some porch up in the hill country, and you don't know how she playing what she playing, and it sounds great. So, you know, I mean, of course, you know, that John Lee Hooker was in there ever since, you know, I can remember, but, you know, Robert Johnson, you know, after I heard the old black guys, you know, it was like Robert Johnson, you know, and then Charlie Patton, and even though I couldn't really understand what he was doing because the recordings were so bad, and, you know, field recordings, and then I seen Mr. Robert Belfour, one of my good friends in Billings, Montana. I seen him, and well, I was up there doing mining, you know, and I went to the festival, and I ignored all the rest of them. I was like, whoa, man, and then I started buying me up some RL and Junior Kimbrough, and you know, when I come down here about 5 or 6 years ago, and I had gigs when I walked out this town, and this town's been really good to me ever since. So I really appreciate this place, you know. But Terry Harmonica Bean, all of them, you know, Robert, I mean, all them old guys like that. Fred McDowell, man, that's my stuff, you know. I came to Clarksdale back whenever I used to do forestry work all them years ago when I started. Friars Point, you know, and after, you know, I did that for like 7 years. So after I heard them old black guys on the picnic table, I purposely went through Friars Point, you know, Clarksdale, you know, Riverside, all of it. And it wasn't the same back then, you know what I mean? You know, I couldn't, there wasn't no, if there was a juke joint, you know, I mean, they didn't want me in there, you know, but whatever, but I was dedicated. I was like, it don't matter. And, you know, and I was really sad. I was really depressed because I realized that, you know, man, this music is the best music. It is the most important music on earth. And it's being ignored by the modern blues crowd, you know, by some of the blues societies, by population in general. And it's a shame. It ain't right, man. And when I heard that Morgan Freeman got the place here and they was revitalizing it all, then I came. Club 2000, I seen them. They told me where to go to Morgan's place. I went back there, played for Club 2000. Went on my vacation all along the Gulf Coast, and when I come back here, and they come got me up here and said, hey man, you got a guy playing that steel body guitar. T-Model Ford wants to jam with you up there. So there's another one of my big influences right there. T-Model let me set in with him, and it worked, and when I walked out this town, I had gigs. Well, Dave, you know, he played harmonica, several little bands and stuff, but he didn't really play blues, you know, and he played straight harp. He's more like Americana music. He come to a jam session, and I was working at a theater, the great Theater NXS, which brought me, and Theater NXS brought Robert Belfort, the best hill country bluesman left alive today now, and there ain't no doubt about it. And we brought him up there, and I opened for him, and I was working at this theater, and there was this really, really raunchy play going to go on. And so the owner of the theater, he says, look here now, he said, I want you to do some really, really raunchy, really risk type blues. You know, I had him listen to the songs I selected, and the director of the theater, he leave. And Dave was in there, and we were building a set. And I said, what do you think about that CD we was listening to? There, I said, with them old songs on there, and we had selected the 3 songs. I said, do you think those 3 songs fit? He says, and he had played with me at the regular blues jam, see what I'm saying, but electric guitar, Chicago blues, and they can't play my stuff, they can't do it. I can play with them, they can't play with me, you know what I mean? And which makes them think that I'm not so good, but they good, but reality, it means that you can't play with somebody, it might mean that you ain't, you know, you can't do what they doing. So Dave says, well, you know, that's good music, but really, what makes you think you can play that stuff? And I said, because that's my CD, brother. And he's like, oh, sorry there, yeah, cool. So then he has a little house party, and he says, come over to the house party, and you know, and I went over there playing, and he was trying to play harmonica. You know, he just started on the blues, and he trying to play straight harp to it, you know, and they're like, you know, I can't get it. And I said, so I started giving him tips, and then I had a little gig, and I said, come on down, you know, it's a gig out in front of a store. And I said, at the Blues Festival, he's out in front of a store. And, you know, I let him set in, and, you know, I just started giving him lessons. And they said, well, you know, I don't know that much about this yet, you know, and I'm like, well, look at here. The last thing I want, in my area, there ain't nobody but people that think that they know the blues, and they do not know the blues. I can guarantee you on that. And I know the blues, I am the blues. And I said, so, by then, I'll just give you lessons, and you do, you know, and well, let's play. And then when we kind of took off from there, because I didn't want somebody that, if they know everything, you can't teach them nothing. You know what I mean? You know, and you cannot have preordained ideas about hill country and Delta blues, or you will never get it. You know what I mean? It's free. It's free music. You know, it ain't no 12 bar. It ain't no 16. It ain't no 8. It's the blues from the heart and the soul.
Well, Dave, how do you factor in the importance of blues in your playing now?
It's my main emphasis in playing harmonica. I love the blues. I just love the emotion that you can transmit through your playing the harmonica. And playing train sounds. You know, it's a joy to be able to do it. You can bare your heart and soul to the audience and have it go along with a great guitar player and vocals, and the emotional blend that you get across the audience is enjoyable, amazing. It's heart-wrenching and all at once. You love it, and you get a thrill out of having a crowd respond to what you're playing, and getting that across with the harmonica in the blues is the way I'm doing it, and I never expected to. Now I'm hooked on it. It's almost addictive to want to play every week that you can.
See what I did to you?
You know, it's all his fault. You know, he's got me going to blues jams all over the country, and just loving every minute of it. And I never expected to. I've had a joy of playing with some really great players, and it's awesome. So thanks to Dave.
Well, I tell you what. Now, if they don't put some criteria, people have to put criteria here. What is now blues, what most people yesterday call blues, was rock and roll in 1972. They got to go back to the roots. You know, I mean, all that's fine. You want to, don't call blues rock blues, call blues rock blues rock. You know what I mean? So things evolve. Everything evolves. and things will evolve into totally something else. So at one point, there's time to change the name of what they is and be realistic about it. And you know, I feel that people really, it's gonna die, man. What I'm doing is gonna die unless people get turned on to it. And the thing of it is, well, I play Delta blues. I throw some hill country into it so everybody like it, right? Everybody loves hill country blues. The only people who don't like hill country blues and this stuff, the only people who don't like it is folks who play Chicago blues and they don't know how to play the old school stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the venues and a lot of the bars and stuff, that's what they always got somebody involved with them that really ain't that good of a player, but they know how to play a little bit of some by rote Chicago blues. And it's killing it, man. It's killing it. We got to go back. You got to save it, the beginnings. You can't kill your ancestors, man. You know, it's all about the ancestor worship, brother. But we say, me and Terry Harmonica Bean, Cedric Burnside, Lightning Malcolm, you know, T-Mod 4, Robert Buffer, we got our job to do, man. And I'm gonna go down with the darn ship, man, if that's what it takes.
Hi, I'm David Summers with David Raye here, Clarksdale, Mississippi.
We're at the Juke Joint Festival, the best festival in the United States for the Roots Blues, and this is our Oxford session.